Let me introduce myself first. My name is Tria Marcelia Raima. In this video, I'm going to present about translation editings. The content that I'm going to present in these videos are theory of translations, theory of editing, translation editing aspect, characteristic of each text, challenges in editing the translated text, and then the last one, we have the conclusions from this video. So the first content that I'm going to present is about translations. In these videos, I provide the definition of translations. So the first definition is translation is an effort of finding equivalent meaning of a text into the second language. We emphasize meaning's equivalence since in translations, meaning is the object to be rendered from the source language text into the target language text. In this case, translator is faced with the text as units of meaning in the form of sets of words or sentence. The second definition of translation is complicated process of transferring between two languages that involve how to overcome the differences of linguistics, lexical, and the context of specific words between the source language and then the target language. Then in translations, we also have translation techniques. So there are 18 translation techniques which are stated by Molina and Alpier. The first technique is adaptations. The second technique is amplifications. The third technique is borrowing. Number 4 is call cue. Number 5 is compensations. Number 6 is descriptions. Number 7 is discursive creations. Number 8 is established equivalence. Number 9 is generalizations. Number 10 is linguistic amplifications. Number 11 is linguistic compressions. 12 is literal translations. 13 is modulations. Number 14 is particulations. Number 15 is reductions. Number 16 is substitution. Number 17 is transposition. And then number 18, or the last one, is variations. So let's move from the translation to editing. In this editing part, I'm gonna do the same as the translation one, which is I'm going to give the definition of the editing itself. So the definition of editing is to prepare something such as literary material for publications or public presentations. The editor will refine the translated text by incorporating preferred glossary terminology and the style specification established during the pre-flight phase of the project. The editor also ensures that the content no longer read like a translation, but read as if it was originally crafted in the targeted language. So after we talked about the definition of editings, let's move on to the type of editings. So in this slides, I provide 4 types of editings. Number 1 is developmental editings. The second one is structural editing. The third one is line editing, and the last one is a copy editing. After that, let's move to the next content. The next content is translation editing aspect. In this translation editing aspect, we have 3 aspects. The first aspect is accuracy. Accuracy here means that a quality translation is a translation that conveys information or message from source language correctly, precisely, honestly, in accordance with the intent of the source language author. The information conveyed is nothing left behind, nothing is added, and nothing is different. The next aspect, we have acceptability. Acceptance leads to the prevalence and naturalness of the translated text in a targeted language in accordance with the norms and rules of the language in a targeted language reader. And then the last aspect is the readability. Readability means that the translated text is easy to understand by the reader. So the next slide is about characteristic of each text. In these slides, we have 4 texts The first one is general text. The second one is text with cultural terms. The third one is text for children. And then the last one is abstract text. First text is general text. General text refer to the translation of text that do not contain special terminologies. The example of this general text such as magazine, blog, website, journal, and etc. After I give the information about the characteristic of general text, here I provide the example of general text. Next text is cultural text. Cultural texts always have special terminology related to the culture. Newmark states his classifications of foreign cultural words into 5 categories. The first one is ecology, including flora, fauna, wind, climate, and etc. The second one is material culture, including food, clothes, house, towns, and transport. The third one is social culture, such as work and leisures. Number 4 is organizations, customs, activities, procedures, or concepts, which include artistic, political, and administrative subcategories. And then the last one, we have gesture and habit. And then I'm going to provide the example of the cultural text. You guys can see it on the screen. The next one, I have text for children. The key characteristic of children text, including the use, age appropriation language, theme, and subject matter. And have clear and concise plot that is easy for children to follow and understand. Generally, children text often features bright and engaging illustration or visual elements that help to capture the attention of a young reader. The purpose of children's text is to entertain, educate, and inspire young readers. So here I provide the example of a children's text. As you guys can see that the children's text have more visual than the other texts. So the last text is abstract text. A good abstract is a complete and honest summary of the whole manuscript with a coherent streams of thoughts. It should stand on its own. The reader should not be required to refer to the whole paper for understanding what it said in an abstract. The abstract should state research questions, objective, key points in the methodology, that could convince the reader about the soundness of the methods employed, important and key observations in the take-home message, so as to tell a complete story. So, as you guys can see it on the screen, I provide the example of abstract text. So the next content is the challenges in editing each translated text. The first challenge is word choice, because sometimes the translator use like general word. For example, like if you translated the children text and then the translator decided to use like general words, not a simple word for children, the editor must change those words into the simple words that are suitable for the children. Second challenge is finding word equivalent. Sometimes you found like translation result with uncommon words. So as an editor, you have to replace those words with words that common in the targeted language. Last challenge is translating special terms. Sometimes there are terms who are translated into something that uncommon in the target language. So as an editor, we have to replace it with the terms that are usual in the target language. So this is the last one. It's the conclusion of the whole videos. From my findings, it can be concluded that translations involves the process of transferring meaning and message from the original text to the target text, while editing is a concern with correcting and improving the translation to make it conform to grammatical rules and the original meaning. Before translating, it is very important to understand the characteristic of each text and adapt the way it is translated according to its purpose and context. So that is from me. Thank you for your attention. I'm so sorry if there are so many mistakes.